I'm going to be honest. I don't know if my heart can take it. I don't know if my heart can take this random Alvin Kamara deleting his social media. I'm not sure the rift with the team, maybe nothing to play for. All of a sudden he's not playing. I'm not sure I can handle week 17 being all about Taysom Hill again. After all this, after all that we've said, after all we've talked through, I don't know if I can handle it. I might just have to sit this one out. I'm not sure I got this one in me, boys. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, it was always Taysom Hill.
No,
It was always Taysom Hill week 7.
Taysom is inevitable.
You knew this was coming. We knew this was coming. We just, the preview of it was week 2, was it? Week 2 or 3? That was the preview. Like,
yeah,
it's coming. It's coming.
He's had double-digit weeks the last 3 or something like that, and now all of a sudden we could just have this situation of no Kamara, no Ingram, no Olave, and it's just.
Aren't you worried about David Johnson?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I am. And then now they get a chance. There's some bad blood between the Saints and the Eagles. They're not division rivals, but they've had some really big games in the past with one another in the playoffs. So they got something to play for, New Orleans, to try to knock them out of that that number 1 seed.
The Philly side of that game, I feel like, is going completely overlooked, at least in DFS. Is it the same in best ball? I haven't drafted yet this week.
Yes.
No, sort of. I mean,
I think AJ Brown should be going a lot higher.
Check this out.
Just jump into it.
I'm gonna, dude. Let's go.
Hit me with it.
All right. So PFF does gradings of pass catchers against particular broad coverages, right? Just broken down into man and zone. Man coverages are single high, cover 1, all the same shit. Cover zone coverages being cover 2, 6 high, cover 4, all those things. Cover 3, right? So the Saints have largely not altered the way that they have played defense, basically providing a blueprint for opposing teams. It's we're going to play 30 to 35% man coverages, and we're not really going to mix up how we do things. They've done that. They started the season. They could be successful at that because they had Marshawn Lattimore. They had these guys in the back end that are solid NFL talents. As the season has progressed, as they've lost all these members of the secondary, they've continued. They haven't altered how they've been playing defense. Okay, so they're going to play 30, 35% man coverages, which is above average.
Okay.
PFF also grades the pass catchers against standard coverages, and 3 of the top 5 pass catchers this season against man coverage are the 3 primary Eagles pass catchers.
So Goddard's one of them?
Goddard is 15th.
Holy shit.
AJ Brown is 1st. Devontae Smith is 11th.
Wow. I love that.
If the Saints just come out just running their standard shit, which they've shown they're going to do, they are going to get shit stomped. Absolutely just shit stomped. And everybody's pushing up Miles Sanders from this team.
Right.
Everybody wants Sanders because it's he's put up 30 fantasy point games because he has the ability to rush for 102. But if you look at if the Eagles are playing their players normally this week, and the Eagles are a weird organization because it's not on the level of Jerry Jones in Dallas, but the Eagles ownership likes to have their hands in the happenings of the team a little bit more than a standard team. We saw it during Doug Peterson's reign in Philadelphia, where they had the Super Bowl run, and Peterson wanted to continue playing his players, and the ownership made him sit players in what amounted to kind of a meaningful game because it lost them a home field game that year. But so if the ownership is going to be in the Eagles chili, telling them we will win this fucking game because the top overall seed is locked up if we do, I could see the Eagles just going absolutely apeshit ham to just get it done right now.
Yeah.
If they win any one of their final 2 games, they lock up the top overall seed in the NFC. What better way to do it than to just come out and shit stomp the Saints, get it done now, and then have 2 weeks rest, basically, because you have a bye week for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm seeing from this game. I'm seeing the pass game could absolutely just erupt. We saw it a couple of weeks ago with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. If they are this concentrated offense through the air.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of, are they going to be passing more? This could be a game where they're passing a little more.
Yeah, and from an underdog standpoint, we have to kind of like take some stands on who we think is going to be quarterbacking the Eagles. Well, you can still take AJ Brown and Devontae Smith without it. And because Gardner Minshew is going to be a fine replacement. One thing that I will say that is like interesting, just as far as like the game, the underdog website goes, I had Malik Willis drafted on some teams from Monday night to the Thursday night game, and obviously we found out like just 2 days ago that he was not starting, and I didn't get Joshua Dobbs swapped in. So now I'm like wondering if we take Jalen Hurts or Gardner Minshew and vice versa. Like, well, if Jalen Hurts is rolled out, like we're gonna get a swap. But I guess don't take Gardner Minshew, but like hopefully he gets a swap, because like I just thought that was interesting, because we thought if a player didn't register a snap, they would get swapped. Anyways, I'll just have to bring that.
Well, that hasn't taken place yet. You will get a snap. You will get a swap. It just will be next game.
No, I meant like the results are like it paid out. That contest paid out. That was from yeah. So, but I wouldn't have cashed with Dobbs in there. I'm just saying like what we thought we knew like didn't pan out how we thought.
No. I think this is what we thought we did know on the 2 gamers though. Okay. Because if a player is active and a player does not log a snap, that player becomes swap eligible for the later edition of the slate.
Okay.
Right? So if this was a BR contest and that happened in the morning, you'd get a swap in the afternoon. But if it happened in the afternoon and there's nothing left to swap to, you don't get a swap.
Okay.
So they have to let the game play to totality, and then they don't retroactively swap.
I thought they did. That was the whole thing. I bring this up all the time, and I thought that they did retroactively swap that Teddy Bridgewater team. But anyways, regardless, it doesn't matter who's throwing these guys the football. I think the matchup is just pristine. Gardner Minshew, as far as the passing game goes, is a replacement level quarterback to Jalen Hurts for how talented these wide receivers are. I've been all over this game and taking some Jalen Hurts. I know that Nick Sirianni's being ambiguous about who's going to start, but that's because he can be. It's going to be Jalen Hurts.
Hurts returned to a limited
yesterday was his first one back. Mm-hmm. So first time practicing.
He's DNP if they have any concerns. And if they have any concerns, he's DNP.
If you take that discussion even further, like, is Jalen Hurts less likely to run if he is trying to win a ball game but like protect his shoulder at the same time? Mm-hmm. Like, so there's a lot going on that's like it's highly theoretical and like this could happen, but like that's kind of what we need in these large field contests, particularly on a 13 game slate. There's 13 games this slate, which is the largest slate other than week 18. So like there's a ton of upside with the Eagles pass game this week.
Yeah. Really loving that.
Yeah, spot. I like it. Let's talk about the other big game on the slate, Mark, that kind of everyone is focusing on, is that Lions Bears. Yeah. What are you seeing there? What are you thinking there? We got Equanimeous St. Brown and Claypool to have limited practices. For what it's worth, they had no passing weapons last week for Fields. It was literally just run. They got Khalil Herbert back last week. Cole Kmet is basically the only stack partner getting drafted with regularity for Fields. What are we thinking there?
I feel like every now and then I'll come on the show, or I'll go on a show and I'll just like shit on the top game environment. I don't mean to do that. I just want to like bring out the fact that like sometimes these top expected game environments have more paths to failure than I think the field is given credit for. This is another one of those spots. The Bears are, we know what the Bears are. They're going to run the football and they're going to want to pass deep. The good thing about this matchup is the Lions seed allow the deepest defensive ADOT in the league. So what the Bears want to do, the Lions have largely struggled to contain. That said, they've been better against the run, but they're still playing elevated rates of man coverage and they're still blitzing at elevated rates. So that is not how you want to set up your defense going against a mobile quarterback like Justin Fields. that's when Justin Fields' 60-yard touchdowns start popping up.
Mhm.
So we know what Chicago is. They're going to run below league average number of plays. They're going to operate an extremely slow pace of play, and they're going to run the football a lot. How are the Lions going to be able to stop that? Well, they're probably not going to. So that's a plus. that is a plus. And the way that the Lions contain this game is they have to get back to being what they had shown over the second half of the season until last week against the Panthers when they got absolutely shredded on the ground. They have to get back to containing the between the tackles stuff. And they also have to account for this dude named Justin Fields who can just rip their faces off on the ground. You look at the other side, the Lions are really, really hard to break down right now because they have transitioned their identity of their team. Yes, they are a little bit more forward leaning through the air, but they're also running a three-headed backfield that they'd like to be as close to a near even split as possible. Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, and now they're adding in Justin Jackson. So that's been like 4 games worth of them all hovering around this like 35 to 40% snap rate range. The only outliers have come when the Lions have been trailing and they've wanted to get DeAndre Swift more work, those 51%, 56% snap rate games. So it's been pretty frustrating. Scroll down some more and look at their tight ends.
No Lion has had a greater than 56% usage. 61 for Jamal in week 9.
Week 9.
61.
That was ages ago.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
So scroll down to the tight ends. Now they're running a 4 tight end conglomerate. Like, what the fuck is that?
Garrett Griffin, baby.
Yeah, where did he come from, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
So now they have Brock Wright, who's like their best overall tight end. He can do some run blocking. He can do some pass blocking. He can catch the ball if he needs to. Yeah. Shane Zylstra, fucking out of nowhere, 3 touchdown game last week. He's mixing with James Mitchell as the like primary pass catcher because they can't really block very well. They're like the Mike Gesicki's of this team, right? And then Garrett Griffin just comes out of nowhere and is like, why is he getting snaps? But the biggest issue is look at the combined snap rates over the last 3, 4, or 5 weeks. They're playing like 25, 30% 12 personnel lately.
Yeah.
Which scroll up now to wide receiver. What is that doing to their wide receivers? That is reducing the snap rates for Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's reducing the snap rates for DJ Chark. And we haven't even talked about Jameson Williams mixing in now. So Jameson Williams is going to mix in for his 10 to 15 snaps. So while the matchup is awesome, while the last time these two teams played, they played to a barn burner. These teams are different. They're operating differently. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, when did they last played was what, week 9? Was that when they last played?
I'd have to double check. But that was the crazy barn burner you said, right?
Mm-hmm. It was week 10. So they last played in week 10, right? So look at like the snap rates or look at just the team composition back then. It was like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, and Tom Kennedy were the pass catchers for the Lions. They have added 2 to 4, depending on how you look at it, pass catchers that are seeing snaps now. That is different than that game. So like, yeah, this game environment has the best chance of any game environment to blow away the other game environments on the slate. But there are 13 freaking games on the slate. So there are more opportunities for these 95 to 99% outcomes to pop up. So we have to be willing to embrace a little bit more variance, although we don't need like closer to optimal as we would on a shorter slate. There's more opportunities for extreme outlier games to pop up. So the fact that we're just like all in on one game environment of 13 just kind of a little bit blows my mind a little. So that's my spiel on that one.
So we're thinking that might end up being a little bit more of like a slog if like the Lions can like take control of that.
There's going to be points scored because each of those defenses is just that bad.
That's what I'm saying.
There's going to be points scored. the concentration of those points is probably a lot wider than people are giving credit for now.
Yeah.
I mean, what Shane Zylstra, 3 touchdown game. GG's, man. Like what?
Yeah.
Like come on.
Godspeed if someone's actually playing that on DraftKings. Like I would retire.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way to attack that game right now has been like people taking Fields early and running him naked or backstacking him with Kmet. According to Chad's data here, we got 77 drafts pulled so far, and like Amon-Ra goes every draft, right? But he has one of the higher, stacking and run back percentages like that, and the same thing with Fields being stacked and run back as one of the highest. So I do think, like, even within our little bubble of 77 drafts so far, I do think people are gravitating to, if they play a piece of that game, they play multiple pieces from
Can you
that
find
game.
Cole Kmet?
Yeah, Kmet has
stack percentage.
Yeah,
he's
I
the
think
only
it's the
pass catcher
highest.
for
That's what I'm saying.
Chicago.
There's no.
There you go.
Okay.
67
Very
and then
concentrated.
51 as a run back.
I thought it'd be higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people are just comfortable with naked Fields. I think the one that's interesting is the Herbert one. Like Herbert just always being stacked 71% of the time.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
For him.
But with Kmet, it's like I don't want Kmet if I don't want Fields. So that's why I'm like, who's taking Kmet? Period.
Bruh, Jelani Woods, let's go. Wheels up, baby.
Jelani Woods, I like that shot.
Are you feeling them in this matchup? Who the hell are the Colts even playing this week?
Right? The Giants, dude.
Giants. How can I forget the Week 17 matchup? Oh, damn it.
Yeah. Kylan Granson missed both practices so far this week, and we know that Jelani has seen increased opportunities when Kylan Granson has been out. Jelani Woods, 6'7", athletic freak like Monstars.
Didn't they script 2 targets to him to start last week's primetime game?
Yeah. And Big Dick Nick in at quarterback likes his tight ends. We know how he likes his tight ends. So I don't know. I like Jelani a lot this week, honestly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Giants defense isn't like too frightening. So
is he min price on DK or is he like 29.8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg Dortch price though. I saw him up on your queue over there, dude. Let's talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, I just plucked out a couple names that are kind of a little bit off the board that I've been thinking about. Greg Dortch is a fun one to talk about because we've seen such a huge increase in that slot role with Rondell being out. So that was just one that I was plucking out there, and Colt McCoy being back is obviously good there, and nobody's touching Arizona. I mean, even DeAndre Hopkins' ADP is pushed down to 30 this week.
Where's James Conner
at? James Conner is pushed up, but he's falling. So he started the week at like 11, 12-ish, and now he's at 19. He's had a Q tag for the majority of the week.
He didn't practice on Thursday, so he's falling even more. And He's one of the best running back plays on the slate, so he should be.
He's and not practicing for illness reasons. Yeah, not for like back-to-back DNPs for illness. So call it what you will. I mean, it might just be some combination of that day off and whatever. Yeah, because his role.
His usage is just it's insane. It's absolutely nuts.
It's the opposite of whatever the Lions have been doing.
Yeah.
It's 97%, 95, 91, 97. And it's coming with high value touches, and he's a phenomenal goal line back. So I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't really care. They're getting Atlanta. Let's go.
All the way back to week 10. I mean, week 11, the dip wasn't because they wanted to use him differently. It was because they got curb stomped by San Francisco 38 to 10.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, getting him and Devontae Adams late is kind of fun this week. It just kind of seems like, you know what? Take the two of the most talented receivers in football in the last 2 rounds whenever you can.
Have we considered the Nick Foles phone?
Does
Yes,
he?
yes. Which
he?
is why you
didn't
want
know
a
that.
6'7" pass catcher. Look at
Yeah.
me. I'm over here.
Yeah, that's true, right?
I wonder if Chip hates Nick Foles as a Phillies fan. Does he think he's trash, or is he? I bet Chip would disagree with that.
Mark, the Greg Dortch call. Well, I mean, I think it might be a little thin for BR. It's definitely in consideration. I don't think he's the type of player that has like the archetype that could break a slate in BR. I do think he's a nice play on DK as a spend down option or even a cash game punt. Something of that magnitude. I'm not sure it's going to matter for our site, but I don't know. Just talk me through a little something there.
Put it this way. He's a cash game punt that has scored 13.3 fantasy points or more in every game without Rondale Moore that he's played more than 70% of the offensive snaps. So yeah, that's like there's a lot of asterisks.
There's a lot of stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah. But what is likeliest to happen here?
Mm-hmm.
It's likeliest that he's going to play 70% or more of the offensive snaps. Why didn't he the first or the two of the three most recent games without Rondale Moore, which were weeks 14 and 15? It was because Cliff was still trying to save face by playing Robbie Anderson and AJ Green, which shifted Marquise Brown to the slot. Now, last week, he said, fuck that noise. I'm done with that experiment. And he pushed Marquise Brown to the perimeter and opened up those snaps for Greg Dortch.
Mm-hmm. And you don't think that had anything to do with Trace McSorley?
No,
okay.
Because we've seen Greg Dortch do that to Marquise Brown earlier in the season before DeAndre Hopkins came back. They were playing Marquise Brown on the perimeter. So like the Cliff Kingsbury is so fake sharp, dude. But one thing we know is
him and Staley should start a club.
Dude, it's insane how bad he is.
And Mike McDaniels will teach the master class to them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Somebody should make that meme. But one thing we do know is the value of the slot role in Arizona, because they are just this horizontally spread offense and they don't have somebody to stretch the field. So it's like Greg Dortch, targets in those splits that I said, so games without Rondale Moore in which he played 70% more, 11 targets, 10 targets, 10 targets, 4 targets, scored a touchdown, and 9 targets. So getting that level of volume at bare minimum price on DraftKings or the last pick of
goal line stands, he's probably viable.
Yeah, deeper formats.
Like getting a nice floor helps. Like I had like 14 points from Richie James helped me last week. You know, and just as a guy that projects with a lot of volume, it does scare me with this offense just because like Hollywood Brown is there. There are other like Trey McBride is on the field running a lot of routes as well. There's just a lot of other guys to put the ball in their hands, and seems like James Conner going to dominate a lot of those touches as well.
The problem has been putting the ball in their hands.
And the QB has to throw it good enough to get it there.
Look at last week. I've never seen
it's just not a good situation.
A 1 for 10 for 4 yards box score. I was covering that game for NBC and I was like, wait, it felt like he was missing some balls, but holy shit. He caught DeAndre Hopkins went 1 for 10 for 4 yards. Wow. So like, yeah, they're there, but getting them the ball with Colt McCoy and Trace McSorley has been an issue. Where they have been able to get them the ball is to the slot wide receiver role, who it runs 5-yard slants every play and is open every play because he's running those against linebackers before the safeties can get there. So it's less viable in a half PPR format for sure, but like that's something to consider this week. Is like I don't like the argument of like fantasy analysts just being like, oh, add a touchdown and he's fucking top scorer in the slate. It's like, yeah, dude, I could add a touchdown to your grandma and shoot him top. Like, what is adding a touchdown do? But like, yeah, I mean, add a touchdown to his scores and it's going to be nice. But I don't know. Against the Falcons, I'll take that chance.
I bring up the ETR stuff right now just because we're on the topic, and top of mind for me has been Rhamondre Stevenson. I do find that, especially like sometimes with the ETR and there's so much crossover between the DFS, and then they just kind of port the DFS rankings into BR and that sort of thing, opposed to just creating these based solely for BR, because like Rhamondre they have as like their highest value play as a DFS component, and now he becomes like a top 5 pick in our format. I don't know if that's should be directly parallel, but I just want to pick your brain a little bit because we talked about the James Conner one. They have him well thrust up here. The Rhamondre one, what's something we're seeing there this week? Mark, are you on board with this hype train of Rhamondre? He has a 21 ADP now on our site. It started at like 26-ish, and now I think it's thrust up to about 21. And, ETR has him as the second best running back play. We've kind of hyped up how he's one of the best, value-based picks on the slate at 25.8 right now. Are you seeing something similar in that game environment?
We have to understand what these, like, go back to the ETR thing. Like, what are those telling us? What are the inputs to give us those outputs? They are rankings based on either salary or ADP versus a median outcome, and then ceiling. What is ceiling? Is it 80% outcome? Is it 95% outcome? Is it 99% outcome? So understanding like what these tools are telling you, these are simply range of outcomes predictors, and they are ranked via their median projection, which is a 50% outcome, half of the time for a projection system that is worth a damn. And these projection systems are getting very good because they're being back tested. They've been back tested for 3 or 4 years now. So how can you back test a ranking system? You can take their median projections and look at how many times a player scored over their median projection and how many times they scored under their median projection. The closer to 50-50 it is, the better that rankings or projection system is. So like we have to understand like what these are telling us. This is just a smattering of median projections. So half of the time these players are going to score more than this value, half the time they're going to score less than this value. And then they are ranked, and then the value number is assigned to them, being like, hey, this guy's median projection does not relatively reflect where he's being taken in BR or where his expected ownership is in DFS, all that shit. So that is what these tools are telling us. Without that understanding, we'd just be like, holy shit, Rhamondre Stevenson is ranked number 5 overall, and he's being drafted in the 5th round. Yeah. So there's a lot of like, it depends with that. Like, yeah, Rhamondre Stevenson's median projection is extremely solid this week because he's expected to have the backfield to himself. He's expected to be involved in the pass game, and he does have touchdown equity. That said, the matchup is not ideal. The matchup is not great. That's going to affect his ceiling outcome. And so there's a lot of it depends in there, but we have to understand what we're getting by looking at these numbers. And so without that understanding, it's difficult to say, like, to have the analysis behind it without that understanding first.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good all-encompassing overlook at, you can't just blindly rip the rankings and input them. We still have to build sound, logical lineups, giving ourselves different paths, opposed to just being like, hey, Rhamondre's 20 spots ahead in these rankings. I'm going to have 85% exposure to Rhamondre because I'm just inputting these rankings, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, look at, like, going back to that discussion, what is ceiling? It's a word. Like, what the hell is that telling us? We don't know. Like, is that an 80% outcome? Is that 95% outcome? Is that his best game of his career? That's what his ceiling is? It's probably more conservative. It's probably a 75 to 80% outcome. And if you look at like Rhamondre Stevenson, his median projection or production this season has been extremely solid in games played without Damian Harris. He's got
except for last week where he buried my ass.
Yeah. On the other hand, he has put up a season high in full PPR scoring of 27.8 points. Miles Sanders has had 4 games higher than that total this season.
Good
so
point.
Like, yes, while the median projection is awesome, he has a tighter band of expectation, a tighter range of potential outcomes than other running backs on the slate, other running backs in the league. So yeah, like dope ass. Like if you're doing like a cash game, a 5-person, 6-person cash game, Rhamondre Stevenson is awesome. If you're playing DFS cash, Rhamondre Stevenson is awesome. I would argue that he's not a very good pick based on where this steam is going. He's probably not as good as a DFS play.
And if Damian Harris plays, like that's not nothing either. Like I don't think that if Damian Harris is active that he's going to get 0 touches. And that certainly affects the ceiling, especially when we have so many running backs this week that have similar median projections that like the list goes on for quite a while after the Hayden Winks line. So I think for me, like what's most important as far as like analysis, if I am using projection systems, is to look at like the wide receiver range of outcomes and see like what's going on there. Because that seems to be way more scarce as far as what we have to choose from. And one of the names that's sticking out to me right now that like I don't want any part of is Chris Godwin. And I think I need to maybe like change that up a little bit just because like we know that they're gonna pass the ball. It's just a matter of like how gross is that game gonna be against Carolina, and both teams are fighting for their playoff lives. Obviously, the Bucs are expected to win that matchup, but Carolina controls their own destiny, so it's gonna be a hard fought game. Probably a lot of pass volume, and the offense just seems so uninspiring, and it's like. I think now we sort of have to lean towards Brady just like not having the juice that we kind of perceived him to have in the games. Like I didn't think Brady was washed, but now like the more I watch, I'm like, yeah, dude, maybe this dude just might not have it anymore.
Y'all about to twist my arm back into those Brady doubles. I'm going back to the well here. We got Tristan Wirfs coming back. Like that's all he needed. He was just missing an O lineman, dude. Come on, he's coming back out here. We're gonna have Brady doubles. He's gonna the four touchdowns, concentrated offense. Godwin for 2, Evans for 2, breaks the slate, easy game. I'm going back to the well, baby.
At least one.
He's missing his soulmate, dude. Come on, he's a broken man.
He's a broken man. Yeah. And his
soulmate.
No, I'm talking about Gronk.
Exactly.
The triangle. I forgot the third angle in that.
Yes,
oh
dude.
No. That's what he's longing for. He's like, you're bored?
Like,
I'm miserable. You're bored?
The interesting thing about that matchup is
interesting.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that matchup too is the Panthers are not a high pressure defense. And that's really been what has nerfed Mike Evans, sorry. He doesn't have the time. Brady hasn't had the time to allow those deeper routes to develop. That's why we're seeing like Chris Godwin with 12 targets every game.
Yeah, he's just running little out routes like every play. It's seriously like the most frustrating thing to watch. It reminds me of how the Eagles ran Jalen Hurts offense last year when there was no AJ Brown. And, you know, it was just a bunch of like out routes and curls, a lot of short stuff. It's very frustrating to watch from a viewer's point of view. But Godwin's getting a ton of volume. Obviously, it would probably mean a little bit more if it was full PPR, but I think I need to start adding him in more because I've been really drawn to Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson. Those are what like my first 15 teams have revolved around is that select of wide receivers.
Garrett Wilson, dude, wheels up. Let's go. Training wheels are off.
Tell me how it doesn't work out for him. I just can't fathom it. I just can't fathom him having a bad game. And I know that is like the recipe for fade, but it's, you know, like when you can't ever picture like a bad outcome in a matchup, like that's probably the sign for everybody else to fade.
That's the recipe for fade for a top 2 or 3 pick. Or a like,
sure.
A 25% owned DFS play.
Right. This is different.
Yeah, this time it's different, baby.
It is, man. Come on, come on. Like talk me into it. I can't. It makes so much sense. The on the flip side too, if Lockett plays and Ken Walker plays, you know, then that kind of gives them a little more juice on the other side of the ball. Hopefully they can score, kind of push the pace a little bit
too.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying. Herbert seems to be widely available in stacks this week, but I have trouble getting there. Any concerns? Also, I'm just kind of bouncing around, but on the Jaguars end, do we have any concerns that like they rest their starters after like one half?
I'm glad you asked because that's why I had Etienne's name on the thing because I'm souring greatly on the Jags right now.
Hugely. Like
Because
I'm like,
they
why
have-
wasn't I thinking this before? You know,
They have
I feel kind of
nothing-
silly.
They have
I
nothing
think-
to play for. It's winner takes
Well,
all next week. It's
no,
the same
they-
thing.
I thought there was a small, like a 5% chance that
6%.
that they can lose this week and then still or whatever. Yeah,
They can win this week,
win
lose
this
week
week, and
18.
lose next week against the Titans, and there's a sliver of chance. But
Yeah.
So does that like both? So is that a bullish statement? Like, should we feel better?
I don't know. That's just I know that there's not like a completely like this game doesn't mean anything. It's just it's like there's literally like that small chance. I think I honestly got it from the Edge reading that and listening to it, which so
it's an incentive for them to try.
It's like if they basically they win this week and then it gives them a chance like a small out if they somehow lose. I don't know, Mark, you probably know the variables to like how if they win and then lose next week how that plays out. I'm not quite sure, but
yeah, they need hold on, let me. It's not as sorry, that's my kid in the background.
I know, it's cute.
I got to he was sick yesterday.
Oh,
I'm doing single parent ops right now and completely neglecting my children, so it's fine.
You're guy's going single parent with 4 kids, and he's just like, yeah, the dog's got it.
Bad
Like,
Bros Friday stream.
Yeah, he is.
Dedication, bro.
He is not
I love
having
it.
that. John said that the Jags had this was no meaning at all. He's like he's
Yeah.
screaming. There is a 6% chance. That is what he's saying over and
That
over.
is what he's screaming. Yeah.
So they need Miami to lose out.
Okay,
They need one loss by New England,
it's very.
and they need a loss by the Jets and by Pittsburgh.
That's
That's
not
not
a cat.
It is a cat. It's a 2-year-old human cat.
Oh my god, that's so
He's saying,
funny.
He's saying "dad" over and over. It sounds
Yeah,
like
you just say
an
that.
allergy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. My wife
And he's
doesn't
just
watch
sitting
this, right? Yeah. So
Talking football, son.
Doug Peterson is you have to like consider like previous actions and like what they are as a coach. Doug Peterson is a players coach, and he is a coach that is a no nonsense coach that wants not that like he would never say like this game means nothing. Dude, I might have to go here in a minute.
It was like the faint pause, and then he's like, "Yo, I'm back at it."
Yeah,
he's like
yeah,
just
yeah.
ran out of breath.
Even louder.
It's like if he could say like more coherent sentences, like, "Dad, what the fuck? I know you can hear me. I hear you."
Dude, I can't.
Now I
sorry.
just hear.
that's
Now
so
I just
funny.
the only thing I hear is a
Just
cat.
meowing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a child. It's a cat.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so the upside is clearly there for the Jags. It comes with the obvious caveat that there's the potential for players to sit. The players more likely to sit, and shout out to Mike Johnson at OWS we were talking about this week. The players most likely to be have it taken a little bit easy are the dudes that are in the trenches every play. So Travis Etienne, the offensive lineman, potentially the tight ends. It's a little bit less concerning for pass catchers, a little bit less concerning for quarterbacks where the injury rates are lower. So, I mean, if I were Doug Peterson, with the state of my team, it being such a young team, and the fact that like cohesion amongst a young team matters a little bit more than like the Tom Brady led Buccaneers, where it's like they've played together for 3 years, they know what's up. Like this is a new team with new pieces that they're still like cohesion is a little bit more important, especially if you think like, what would you do if you knew you had a week with a potential tune-up game, or you could rest your guys, knowing that you had to win 5 games in a row to win the Super Bowl, which is where the Jags are right now. They have to basically effectively beat Tennessee, and then they have to run the gamut from starting from a wild card position. So that's 5 games in a row they have to win. Shit. All right, I gotta go.
It's
Great
gone
run.
off the rails.
Hell of a
So
run.
good.
Yeah. All right.
Oh man.
Later,
All right,
bros.
Good luck
Enjoy
this
your
weekend,
Man,
Mark.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, dude.
Happy
See
New
ya.
Year, bud. That was legend. So good.
Oh my
Man,
god, dude!
I can't
could
imagine
not
having-
contain my laughter. Like it was holy shit. That was so funny.
I can't
Oh.
imagine having 4 kids, dude. I can barely take care of myself. That's
I
wild. He's out here doing this stream and he's got like kids yelling at him. He's got
Legend.
phone ringing. He's got like,
They're just like
oh,
taking
man,
care of
yeah.
themselves out there. Oh my
Brett
god!
Boy, as a fellow parent, he felt that segment. Absolutely, man. That's so good.
Wow.
Yeah, LED bringing up the Etienne thing. Let's keep going with this Jags thing for a minute here, because I brought it up because I do see Etienne fall a lot. If we look at the sheet here, with like the breakdown of where he's going, sometimes like this is very odd to see a player who has an ADP in the teens to then be falling to like 27 sometime, and it's not injury related, it's not news related, it's not whatever. It's just pure skepticism. So I mean, at what point do we stop clicking on Etienne's name? Because I mean, Etienne's in that smash spot that we've bought into for week after week now. We've bought into drafting both the Cowboys running backs, right? Everybody pushed Nick Chubb's ADP into the first round. It's kind of like, man, if this was a must-win game for the Jags, like Etienne's getting the ball 18 to 22 times and like 140 on the ground is within range outcomes, right? I don't know. Should we still be buying that ceiling? I don't know.
I think it's definitely like I think we should be selling Etienne right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the price is too high. Like everyone said, I've seen it as well this morning. Etienne is falling like dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
I think that last night primetime game kind of like I know it kind of woke me up a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, like the Jaguars don't really have to do anything this week. Like
Right.
I don't know why it didn't hit me until I watched the game, and now I think everybody else is kind of thinking the same thing. And while Mark was neglecting his kids, we got the news that that Gibson is out this week. So I think the Commanders are on the slate. Are they not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson, I think, is probably like definitely in play this week against a really bad Browns run defense.
So yeah, the one thing about Etienne, like it's really interesting. Like I totally agree with you at 13. I'm not going to do it. But then if like what he just said, if he falls, I'm definitely just going to I'm going to snatch it because one stat that's really interesting. So Etienne ranks 4th amongst running backs in red zone carries this season. That's more than Saquon, Derrick Henry, Chubb, Cook, Jacobs, Mixon. Like after and this is per Mark basically writing it up in there. But after Robinson left, it's basically it's not like he's got an elite it's not like he's got an elite ceiling now, but it's like he's got a floor booster with how he plays. And I think going up against this cake matchup, like if he continues to fall and it kind of does the opposite of Rhamondre, you know what I mean? Like if their paths start to cross, because if I saw that right, has he actually been falling? Because I haven't been drafting as much of these.
So he has been falling 75% of the time in that 15 range, but the last drafted, he's fallen as far as 27.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
sample.
interesting. If that's going to be the flipping, like not saying it's actually going to happen, but if that's the trajectory it's going, I'll kind of eat more Etienne and let people push up Rhamondre. Not that I won't have Rhamondre, but I mean, I still think Etienne's really interesting and like totally get the nothing to play for thing. I also think that it's just Houston, and just because they have nothing to play for, I still think the matchup is a cake. It's just a cakewalk, and I like it for Etienne. So it's like I'm not going to be completely out. That price, at the current price, I'm kind of out. But if he starts doing that fall past 20s, it's like, oh, I'll start scooping that up. It'll be hard to even when you're sitting there in like the mid-teen, like later teens, you know what I mean, to not scoop that up.
For me, I see the similar thing to last night. With the Malik Davis stuff, like, okay, he's serviceable, he's good. Hasty comes in and does that. You know what I mean?
No, it's
And then
definitely in the range of outcomes for sure.
Yeah, that's the only thing that scares me with Etienne. But there's no denying how good a spot it is, how good it is. And then one thing that we often like overlook is like before the resting of like the starters or getting whatever, they might get out to a 21-0 lead, and it's all because Etienne had 80 and 2 scores. You know?
Yeah,
right?
And
like it's
that's why it's like it's not going to be someone I'm going to be slamming, but he's going to be someone I'm not going to be fully just kind of out on because of the perceived nothing to play for. If anything, I'll be out on him probably at that price if it starts to fall and things start to happen. So Paul smashing at 13 will be overweight. That's interesting. So
yeah,
I guess
listen to the BR.
I guess we all
King,
just need to follow. We all need to follow suit. But I mean, yeah, it's interesting because I mean, there's so many running backs you can name back there after Etienne that I enjoy too. I mean, shocker, Dalvin Cook, but James Conner we mentioned, Rhamondre being at 25 to that. So like obviously right now I like Rhamondre price considering, but if that starts to change, I mean, I even like. It's hard not to like Jerick McKinnon still at that, especially at that price. It's interesting. As gross it is, I still like Nick Chubb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
33 ADP Nick Chubb. So Josh Jacobs, like it's just there's a lot of
interesting. Just waiting for that Lenny shout. One thing I want to say is this KC Denver game we haven't talked about yet. They played to a beautiful shootout the last time that they played. I think there is a little bit of no more Nathaniel Hackett narrative for Russ to save face, to be like, look, it was his fucking fault. Come out here. Let's play some ball. Let me just chains off old school, let Russ cook. Maybe I'm not washed kind of narrative here to be like, we're going to push the pace on
that
both
would be
sides.
fun.
And this game's getting slightly overlooked because all we're seeing from this game right now is Mahomes, Kelsey, and McKinnon getting drafted, and that's basically it. And McKinnon doesn't get drafted every single time. This game played to a shootout the last time they met like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yep.
Why not again? Why not? Russ comes out. Russ goes, hey, give me Judy and Sutton back out there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to prove to everybody that Nathaniel Hackett was the problem, not me. And now we chase points all night in this game environment. I think there's something a little fun with a little backstack Russ or a little backstack. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. It's thin. Don't get
regardless
me wrong,
of what happens, like any sort of like game environment providing like a viable game stack is just going to be like excellent content no matter what happens.
Right.
Because like seeing like if a BR winner or a BR and a BBM winner has some correlation going on, like that's just going to be just a hilarious content. I think Montgomery is going like way cheap. I got Montgomery in a goal line stand like last round. I was hoping to get Khalil Herbert in the last round, but like when choosing between Montgomery and Herbert, like I wasn't going to get cute there. I didn't expect Montgomery to still be there at all. I think this is a pretty good week I always say this after like I do well in the goal line stand, like good week to go back in the goal line stand. Like, yeah, because I just fucking won. But like with so many, like you can punt running back and like and go after like these other like, you know, I just think that's just an interesting strategy to try out in these, because there's a lot of running backs that go late. And if Aaron Jones is feeling healthier than he was last week, they're favored to beat the Vikings. Like strangely, and I don't want to read too into that, because now that I'm like I'm a Vikings fan this year, and I wanted to smash that +3 so bad, but I'm like scared because I think the Eagles play first, and if they get some like early results, you know, I'm just like thinking like, oh well, does this game still mean something if the Eagles clinch?
Yeah.
I just wonder how much we are looking into the whole. Do games mean to what not?
Yeah.
And like I totally it's a talking point, and it's a great talking point. I just don't know. I'm just me generally. I don't know how to weight that into. Obviously, there's certain scenarios that you can weight. Like Jacksonville is would be higher than if the perceived notion you just said. The Eagles win, Vikings don't have anything to play for, but they technically do. We're trying to make it so we have 2 home games. So like that's the thing is like there is little slight things like it dropping from the 2 to the 3 is kind of big. Like it's just
Right.
1 home game versus 2. So knocking the Packers out of the playoffs. Like there's a lot of things I think we can play for. JJ going for the reception or like the league lead in receiving yards. So it's like, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how to weigh that all in, and I'm trying not to weigh it too much into my decision making. Yeah. Maybe that's not the right move. So it's just I don't know. It's tough.
No, it's a divisional matchup. I think you're right. I don't think it's worth overthinking, but
it's just for
it was just for me as I was just kind of going into my gambling mode for a minute there.
Oh yeah, and
I didn't hit it. I'm not doing anything this week. It feels way too fragile.
Okay, for the overarching stuff here, that I think the biggest takeaway from this conversation in general is running back is by far the depth of this slate. I think there are a lot of names late that we can just feel very comfortable clicking on right now. Like, I mean, even with like just a one-off Aaron Jones, one-off Alvin Kamara down here, if we think he's going to play. Now we just got the Brian Robinson news. I don't know if you guys heard, but it's Dilhember season for AJ Dillon. Like it just this like the Tyler Algier one.
I was just going to say it's Tyler Algier, man, is someone that's
23 touches last week. Like, I don't know.
A team out of playoff contention that seems like literally like I think the quote that I was reading, like teams with late season personnel decisions that are out of the playoffs, we just don't know. Like they could just literally give him the rock and be like, you know what, like
maybe they want to see what they have with him.
Is this our future? Yeah, is this our future of a run heavy team?
I mean, and we all know it. This is late season DFS to a T. In terms of just the chaoticness, like there's going to be players that score like a Shane Zylstra, but it's going to be even more tilting because this is going to be like,
at least Shane Zylstra doesn't matter for us. Like nobody's drafting.
100%.
Like,
right.
Yeah. Like that's what's nice about these BRs. It's like, you don't have to sweat. Oh my God, who's got the same Zylstra
That was very
team?
nice. That was very nice. Not having to be
we could all just like laugh at it. Like, what do you know? It's Shane Zylstra.
Except when I Was Inverted is at the top with a Shane Zylstra team, and you just see,
I would delete the app.
The David Montgomery one's kind of fun because you can pair him with Fields quite comfortably as well because he has been utilized in the pass catching stuff. It's bad that Herbert's back for him, obviously, but we just saw like the pendulum swung on the Lions where we were like, oh man, they're good. They're a good defense now. They're a good run defense. And then we just saw Carolina just blow the doors off them last week with the run game. Right. So I'm less scared there. So I do think that's a really nice name. But the strength of the running back position just in general, comparative to the wide receiver, because the wide receivers at the top have so many question marks, right? Like, we've painted ways that this Amon-Ra game can fail, right? We've painted ways in how they're spreading the ball so much out. AJ Brown, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Devontae Smith, that applies there. Tyreek, we have backup quarterback. Waddle, we have backup quarterback. Adams, we have backup quarterback. Keenan Allen is just never a fun click, especially all the way up here. And it just becomes like this, like, oh my God, the only names I like clicking on at the top are Justin Jefferson. I'm fine with Amon-Ra and Tyreek a little bit more so. And Garrett Wilson's name stands out to me as one that I enjoy clicking on. But I think this week for me personally is I'm going to be consolidating around like as many of the top end wide receivers as I can get together. And then I'm just going to be pairing them with like whoever the fuck I think is going to get 20 touches from the back end. And I don't really care who it is.
There you go.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I'm really consolidated around like I have no fear whatsoever with Teddy Bridgewater throwing the football to the Dolphins receivers. Love me some Amon-Ra. I haven't really gotten too cute with my wide receiver positions yet in these drafts. Like if I'm going to try to pull up my exposures and see what they're looking at right now. Cause like, I don't have too many like late round wide receivers. If I would like to know, like, so like my wide receiver pool is really thin.
Yeah. I feel really the same way there. And it's interesting that Paul's saying
I know. That's why I'm like, who are they?
Paul literally inverted. He's inverted. Is his take inverted here? I think that's what's occurring, right? I mean,
maybe a little Brandon Ayuk, Jerry Jeudy,
Alan
Lazard.
I do like Mike Williams' price a lot. as like a potential slate breaker that's back there. We talked about that one on Wednesday a little bit.
Yeah.
DJ Shark is a back stack kind of thing, but Mark's kind of scared me a little bit off with how like spread that is. Romeo Doubs comes into play if Christian Watson is out. Tyler Lockett for me is definitely in play. I do think he plays this week. I think it's must win for Seattle. I think he's just going to take a couple vet days in practice and then he's going to gut it out with the hand. I was inverted throwing out some fun names here. Drake London, Brandon Ayuk, both Judy and Sutton and Hopkins. So we talked about the Broncos ones and the Hopkins one, but two fun names to add there in London and Ayuk that I hadn't really considered.
I also throw just because of Christian Watson, depending on what we get, Romeo Doubs is also pretty fun.
Was the guy listening to the show? Were you listening to the show, Numi? I literally just said that.
Well, I apologize. I'm pulling things up and trying to get it as you go.
It might not have been a minute ago.
It wasn't even a minute. It was like 4 sentences ago.
And you scroll up right there. That's me. I do it all the time. You guys scroll up. I zone out for a minute.
Oh my God!
We're an hour in with no draft.
So good.
Yeah. He needs air. He needs some milk. Give him a little something.
That's funny.
You could probably clip about 10 clips of me doing that though. That's hilarious. Like I'll just be like, yeah, ready here. I'll be zoning in on a guy I was trying to find his practice report. I'm like, yeah, we got this up here. Then you're done talking. I'm like, here we go. Dunked on. We need Nez's little hoop in the back. I just got mossed.
Yeah. It's okay, man.
That was so good. That made me laugh. Oh, just another 101 for your boy.
This is getting ridiculous.
I truly wonder if you just get 101s on stream and then off stream, he's just like, for the love of God, could I stream again?
Yeah, I think it's
get one more, just to get one more.
Mm-hmm. He just runs bad off camera, just incredibly so. I will say, go ahead.
I was just saying he's just sitting there in a private StreamYard thing, just like drafting. So he's like, at least he can see himself on camera. He's like, yes, 101 again. It works.
I will say, John, I think it was karma. Last night I was doing some baseball streams. Not streams. Sorry. Drafts.
Where?
Yeah.
It's like, where were these, sir?
No, I would never do those behind your back. And I drafted Anthony Rendon auto pick.
So. Let's go, baby. Welcome to the dark side.
Had to talk myself into that.
Delete your app?
Yeah, no, I had to talk myself into that.
Delete your
app. All right. Just to get Numi back in the good graces.
Yeah, let's do it. Look at that game log.
And I was literally getting people telling me like JJ 101 over Cup and JT and CMC.
Huh? Cup got injured, man. If Cup doesn't get hurt, they're leg and leg.
Yeah,
it's still a fine pick though. Correct then?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I know, but it's not. I
don't think anybody was really that shocked with the 101 discussion for like Mark and I when we were doing the 1 week season stuff. It was a five tier, and it was randomized within that 5 tier based on a frequency.
There was a
like with distribution based on ADP. So it was.
I was definitely Cup over Jefferson. Like pretty solidly.
I think it flipped
anything of what he did
late in
I think
draft
that was
season.
Unicorn season. That was my take. I was just like, there's no way he's going to be able to repeat that. That was a unicorn.
Greatest
season.
Wide receiver, one of the greatest wide
exactly.
If he doesn't get hurt,
doesn't matter who
pretty
it
damn
was.
Close. He was a good pick until he got hurt.
That's fair.
But I mean, CMC and JJ actually like paying off as like the top 3 picks. We hadn't seen that like in the last couple of years in fantasy. Like it's been like a lot of like disappointment, obviously with CMC getting injured and whoever the hell our 3 picks were. It just hadn't really like panned out, and now like it finally paid off, and JJ's in 40% of BBM finals.
Yeah. Hey, my take isn't the fact that they got injured. My take is literally the fact that there were people saying that JJ should not be in the one. There was a lot of people out there saying no. He's like, there's a clear one, and it's Cup and the 2 running backs. And my thing was just like, I think he's very in contention. So the fact that you guys, or I didn't know that you guys were also in the fact that he was in 101 territory. Do we just take Etienne for the bit?
Sure. I'm down for it. Why not?
Nez logs off.
Let's do it.
It's fine.
And then let's take Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
I
was just
going
gonna
to
say,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm back. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm back. Dude, I love Garrett Wilson this week.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm surprised. You've
Let's
been
get
like the
weird with
biggest
this.
Mike White hater on planet Earth. So I'm surprised that you actually are.
Yeah, I was the Mike White hater when we were drafting him nonstop as if he was actually going to outscore these like a Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Fields type. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, this is a BR. Like, we don't need a draft.
No one was saying that.
Let's get weird with this one and go backdoor Seattle double with Lockett Geno.
That would be fun.
I think that game environment's a little overlooked. I think the Jets' pass defense is a little overrated, just in general. But I do think that game could push a little Northwest shootout. One thing we haven't talked about yet that I was going to ask Mark on is I haven't not looked greatly into weather this week. Has there been, because it hasn't been a big talking point, that there's going to be any terrible games? I don't know. You know how my thoughts on weather are, that they don't matter until Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Unless it's like dreadful like we saw last week. But I'm not seeing anything like that yet.
I got green all over on RG. And literally,
yeah,
everything looks fine.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Interesting start from the 6th, the 106th there. Mahomes, Tyreek going with that little XKC stack, but then going double Miami, wide receivers, and then Jerick McKinnon as the running back stack there. Devontae Adams in the 4th round, pick 20. Wow, that feels.
That's a nice
feels like something about that.
Feels like I'm going to be very, very exposed to Devontae Adams if that's the price I'm going to be getting him.
Yeah,
regardless of Jared Stidham.
Yeah, I mean GA bringing up a really smart point in the chat here that Geno does suck. Yes,
he's all right, man. He just fell down to earth big time.
Shit, my turn.
Whew.
Holy
We're
fuck.
faced with that James Conner pick, huh?
Yeah, man. I don't want to make this pick.
Connor, or let's take Connor.
I think James Conner. I mean, we were just talking about him.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that this turned into this team.
Wait, what was he seen practicing on Friday or no?
I have not seen anything yet.
That was
Okay, this
just
is
on the
a
pad.
naked Jalen Hurts team now, and then just hope he plays.
Yeah.
Oh, he was seen participating in practice Friday. Let's go.
This is
He's
a
back.
6-leg
Oh
parlay.
yeah.
Let's go.
Well, Jalen Hurts was seen or Connor was seen?
Connor.
Yeah, I think we kind of knew that just because it was an
So,
illness, right?
Do we take, depending on if, do they
Yeah.
all need tight ends? I think we take.
This is what we've been saying. Like we said that earlier. Yeah, it's like the guy had an illness. We brought up the injury report. Illness.
I wonder if. So yeah, I think we take obviously the stacking partner here if we can get him.
take Goddard. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
If our boy and
if
Sith
not-
cannot take him.
If not, I know exactly who we're taking.
Yeah, I know a guy that you may or may not like.
Oh,
in
never
the
mind.
tight
He
end
went.
position.
He went
Oh, he
already. Yeah,
Friend of the show knows what's up.
knows what's up. It's Taysom week. I don't like how this team turned out.
Dude,
When Taysom Hill is heading to the medical tent in the first quarter, it's going to be a rip.
Wow, dude. Why would you even suggest that?
I just see it. I see the future, and it's that.
Sick, man. Oh no.
Oh,
How about
gone goes Nezzy?
Damn it. What the hell? You bumped the USB and then next thing you know, I can't show my
You're talking
camera.
like me. I was like, where did I touch it, sir? I was like, how is this working? I mean, yeah, so you want, I guess I wouldn't hate it. I think with the fact that I like that maybe Hurts won't run as more. So the fact that maybe he'll try, that's my bro science take, is he's going to try and protect the shoulder, maybe not run as more. How that works out, I don't know. But for me, it'd be Goddard. And then Jelani seems like a fun pick too.
Yeah, no, I think this is a Goddard team for sure.
Goddard makes this team.
But I know
Goddard,
how much
Goddard makes this team like sick.
I know how much you love naked Hurts, so
Yeah.
or just naked
Goddard,
QBs in general.
Goddard turns this team into a monster.
That's why you had that
this
Gardner
team is
Minshew thumbnail.
who look at this team. Jalen Hurts, Travis Etienne, James Conner, Jefferson. Is that Wilson?
Garrett
Yeah,
Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, man, this team is dirty.
Yeah, his team's nasty, but it feels bad because it feels like a 6-leg parlay.
Me and Nez will Venmo you for this because we want some equity in this.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Rhamondre Stevenson at 34. Holy.
What is going on?
Man, what a
Did we get
crazy draft.
Damian Harris news?
I mean, he's been practicing.
Oh, he has been.
No, he limited and then DNP yesterday for personal reasons.
Oh. Interesting.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I think he's still
LP DNP.
Yeah.
Not great.
And then the one thing that scares me is the Patriots are in the thick of playoff hunt territory, right? And we talked about Rhamondre being bad last week with the fumble and critical fumble and then being bad before that. And then now doesn't it just scream Belichick that it's all right, we got Harris back. It's a split backfield. We're trusting him. You know what I mean? Just from a coaching narrative standpoint that the projectable volume isn't
as
good as we give it credit. Yeah.
I'm with you.
I think it is a bigger thorn in his side than people maybe want to admit if Harris is active and fully playing. I mean, in theory, we could see Harris get what? It could be a 60-40 split, or Harris could get what? Just 20% of snaps, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all really in there, but it's pointing out basically what Mark did with this game and how, and pointing out the Chicago, Detroit, and kind of showing where it could fail and everything like that. We're just showing how you can poke holes in Rhamondre, especially now that with the uncertainty of Damian.
I talk like such a stupid hockey bro. Dirty, nasty, naked, all hurts said in the last minute about a draft. You tried to branch into another genre.
No, we're good.
That's a good.
And the fact that no bots have came in, and maybe I've missed them, but
yeah, I'm just trying to draw the sex bots out. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Where are you at? Get the band hammer.
All right. Friends and family here. We got Carlos in here. We got the hockey hooligan. We got the Brett boy. We got Moxie Land.
I think
I like CMC here. I mean, you can kind of flip the board a little bit, and
I like going Amon over Saquon.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. But I think CMC. I think the 1-2 this. I think the 1-2 this week for me is just Jefferson CMC over and over again.
Yeah.
I've been mixing in a little Kelsey.
101?
Like 102. So depending on shocking, it's over CMC a lot of the time. Not Jefferson. Mm-hmm. If Jefferson's there, shocking to take him. I think it's just kind of like I see Kelsey at the 1-2, 1-3. It's like, oh, this is fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's been a 101 for how long? It's just kind of like you're getting that couple pick discount. Not that it matters, but it's just. I don't know. I want to have quite a bit of exposure to Kelsey.
Yeah, I like that. I mean,
never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. Exactly.
No, and then my plan is just kind of like for me, I've kind of seen how when tight ends go in ADP, I'll take basically like the highest. It'll be like the highest tight ends in ADP are my highest exposed. It kind of that's how it goes. And I need to branch out more and just get those kind of just unicorn tight ends out there that can put up those games that can vault you up there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what's been the issue is like he hasn't been separating like you really need him to.
Fuck.
But I mean, who's to
really
say?
Hoping Brett Boy would give us
that'd be
awesome.
Give
us Tyreek there. That would have been nice. And now I have no idea what to do.
Maybe you just take like Eckler and just like go at ADP value here because like those are back to back. That's gonna be pretty rare.
How do we feel about Eckler now? In another limited practice, I think he does play. I know my take was like they really have nothing to play for because they've clinched. They have a playoff berth, so like they're the ultimate for me on the spectrum of do they have anything to play for? But like I said, he came on to the podcast. He talked about how he'd like to play.
Yeah,
it's just is this a game where because do they have anything to move up for? I haven't looked at their seeding of where they're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd have to look at what baseball has.
Because, like, theoretically, this could be the one where Eckler comes out there. He even puts up a touchdown or whatever. And then in the second half, it's Josh Kelly.
They have a kind of widespread range here. So they could be the 5 or the 6 seed.
Okay.
And so, it's pretty split.
Again, I don't know how to judge it. I'm just me talking through these outcomes and all of the it's such a tough time of the year with this with all these nuances of like teams having to play for things, don't having to play for.
What do you guys like here?
I'm fine with Kittle and CMC, but
I just don't know how we make this team like different now. Okay, let's do it. We'll take Kittle.
I think it's already different because we got.
I don't think a lot of
no?
people are gonna do Kittle and CMC
with Eckler, so it's kind of like we don't really have to get that different. You could even make it a Purdy team, really, right?
Yeah, I mean we're already betting pretty heavily on him. For me this week, the place I don't like getting different is quarterback. For what it's worth, like I think getting different for me this week is quarterback isn't the spot and tight end isn't the spot. For me, it's all in the skill position guys is where I like getting weird this week.
Blake in the chat is saying like, what's the difference between playing the Bengals or the Jaguars? I'd say a pretty big goddamn difference. I don't know about you guys, but I would much rather
play the Jags,
than the Bengals. Like
the Bengals, I think are. I saw a tweet and it was like the Bengals' historic run against the spread like recently. I'll have to get it to show you guys, but it was
they just like covering like all the time.
Yeah, I'll try. And...
Okay, you're being sarcastic. Gotcha. Oh, which is? I thought you said what? Sorry, Blake. My apologies. I can't read worth a damn. So I didn't mean to get you wrong there.
Okay, who do you guys like? This is interesting. I think we could set up.
Let's do a
Herbert double.
Yeah.
But like it's something interesting about like if we take Waddle here, then we take Mike Williams on the way back and then set up the Herbert. But if we miss on Mike Williams, we can still take Herbert on the way back and just go Herbert Eckler.
I think you just lock up Herbert.
Yeah, I like that.
These two guys still have QBs. Like, what's stopping Carlos from double tapping Williams and Herbert there? You know, I don't know if any of these guys have Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen's on the other side of the board. That's why Keenan Allen was. I missed it. There he is at 17 there.
Mm-hmm. And he's already got a QB.
So we kind of have this to play with.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like, if we take the Jalen Waddle value there, then maybe we still just get Keenan to come back.
And that was at ADP. That wasn't even like an absurd value for Waddle.
That's true. Yeah. Now, do you guys like the Mike Williams double? Or do you think? Numi?
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it because like, yeah, I for me, it's like Herbert's the one that is going to put up and spread that, and we just got to hope that it's.
Let's get the Herbert.
It's the easiest tack. It's the easiest tack on for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless you think that he does like.
Unless you don't
elsewhere.
I could be talked into Hopkins.
I could be talked into Hopkins and then hoping Williams comes back and then going elsewhere if Williams does not come back.
Yeah, that's definitely a route. I mean, we already locked up a stacking partner, which is why I'm more willing to let it like the kind of like the dice roll basically.
Okay, and let's roll the dice. Let's roll the dice, boys.
And I think
wouldn't
then
be a John Boyd draft if I didn't roll the dice, eh?
Exactly. And I mean, there's still options back there. If you just click yellow and just get those ugly purple things out of the screen.
Whoa. For the record, we're pro purple organization here.
Well, you don't think I'm pro purple? That's funny.
Slice your hand open. No, nice. See what you bleed.
Guy bleeds, dude. You guys remember when Heinz ketchup had like colored ketchup and you could get purple ketchup? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I didn't like ketchup.
What do you think I had with my chicken nuggies going up?
You just see Newbie on game day. He's got like this spread.
Ketchup.
That was POV week 2 of 2022. Throwing that temper tantrum.
You shut up.
There we go. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I thought we saw the pick. He's gonna
POV week 2 Sunday was pretty fun. POV week 2 Monday night was not a delightful time.
All right,
not fun.
Some Algier there.
I think it's Mike Williams. I mean, you could talk me into some different things to do. And just hope that it's Eckler gets the touchdowns. And But
No, I think this is Mike Williams for sure for me. I like it. We built out 2 concentrated like doubles, no bringbacks in either of them. I don't know what else to say other than just being like, it makes a lot of sense that if we have Herbert and Eckler to just go the Mike Williams route there and just, give ourselves a path, opposed to being like such a narrow tree of like, oh, it's Herbert to Eckler 3 times, right? Like,
it's hard.
That's always a tough thing when it's like, man, I should have got that.
John, I'm gonna bounce.
Oh, okay. We're done today.
Before you, if you guys want to do one more, you can. I'm gonna dip. We got the evening show tonight too. I don't think we've.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's call our stream there. And I did want to. We were gonna run one more, but Nez is hungry or some shit.
It's Friday, man. I'm a busy man.
Yeah, I'm a busy man too. No, I'm not busy. Appreciate everybody hanging out. We had like 50 something at one point there. Do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow. Thank you all for being here. Best of luck this weekend. We're gonna have an article coming out on Underdog in due time. And later this evening, Pete is doing a friends and family style YouTube version of a Discord hang. So I don't know if he's publicized much of that or if he's putting it in the Discord or what the MO of that is. But we will be joining him, or a portion of us will be joining him at, I think, 8:30, 8:45 Eastern time, something like that. So just keep your eyes out in the Discord. Keep your eyes out on Pete's channel. I know he's got a bunch of fun guests lined up. I think we're the bottom of the barrel in terms of guests that are coming on there. But I think he's got the full house coming on to do a New Year's Eve kind of style
all right,
draft, and
we got everyone. And here's the badge, bros.
Yeah. Yo, thank you. Yes, John is the people's host. He's always trying to jump in another draft. If you guys aren't playing on Underdog Fantasy, what are you doing with your time? Go ahead, use that promo code BADGE, get a match deposit up to 100 USD. Link in the bio. Join the Discord below. Keep your eyes peeled on Underdog Network for our article, our top secret super, super thin plays of the week coming your way. All that fun stuff. Anything to add, gentlemen?
No, I hope everybody has a good New Year's Eve. Celebrate.
Last stream of the year.
Last stream of the year. How old is this guy, man? Get him out of here.
I don't know about you guys. I might be TBD on Monday. We'll see if I'm taking holiday there. But
we'll discuss. But try and get back to some semblance of a.
We will have openings for a
in
third batch, bro. Starting Monday. Just letting everyone know.
All right. Everybody's
see you in the bullpen lobbies, everybody.
See you in the lobbies. Best of luck tonight, tomorrow, this weekend. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.